Well, folks, it's that time again to call out Spectrum News Channel 1. Now, I took a break yesterday, given that I went to see the Macy's Flower Show, and it was a beautiful show, and I wish Channel 1 would have brought that up in Community Calendar, but I don't think they really care about Midtown now, do they? No. But I will mention, which should be brought up on Community Calendar, that the flower show at Macy's Herald Square is running now through April 10th. So, just putting that out there for the record. But anyhow, calling out Channel 1 today because they've been ignoring a lot of major fire news. In the past 24 hours, we've got numerous reports of major 2 and 3 alarm fires reported that Channel 1 just seems to ignore, which I'm just really sick of it. And they also ignored a multi-vehicle accident that happened in Douglaston yesterday. So we're going to get into that. We're definitely going to get into that. And there was some major news from my community that Melinda Katz gave out. So I'm going to get into that as we go along in this video. And I have been busy this morning, by the way. This will be posted in the afternoon. I have been busy reaching out to a couple of people in Congress regarding COVID funding for testing and vaccines. So that's why I'm first getting into the loop right now. So here we go. This is what I wanted to lead off with. There was a fire at a vacant car dealership on Hillside Avenue in Jamaica off Parsons Boulevard. This should have been on Channel 1's homepage, but it wasn't. They're talking about Biden, talking about how he wants to lower gas prices, but what about this? Right? This is a major community issue in Jamaica. You know, this should have been the top story. And Jamaica's really had it rough this week. I mean, they had a shooting in a pawn shop earlier this week, and now this. And by the way, I got notified by the NYC 911 page about this yesterday. So let's take a look at the video. So look at this. Channel 1 could have easily covered this yesterday. So this is where the fire happened, 153-12 Hillside Avenue, right on top of the E and F train station. And what we're going to do right now is to get a Google Street View. Now, this used to be a Nissan dealership from what I was looking up yesterday. So, yeah, here it is. This used to be Nemeth Nissan. Like, let's get a Street View earlier. Let's go to... Let's see, I want to go earlier than that. Yeah, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Yeah, so this used to be a Nissan dealership back in 2018, from what I could find on Google Street View, because this used to be a very busy Nissan dealership. That's a given. So very unfortunate that this happened yesterday. And then we got more fire news that we are going to get into, so... Staying in Jamaica, 2-alarm fire. Where did this happen? Near the Van Wyck. Firefighters respond to multiple phone calls for a house fire at 137-11 131st Avenue. And units arrived to find heavy fire and smoke. Okay, let me move this so you can read this. I do apologize. Yes, okay. So it happened 6:40 p.m. on Tuesday. Okay, so first finding out about this 2 days later. Blaze quickly spread into the first and second floor of a private 2-story house as the FNNY went to a second alarm at 7:12 p.m., bringing 25 units and 106 firefighters and EMS to the scene, according to the FDNY. The fire was brought under control at 7:40 p.m. Searches showed no civilians were inside and there were no injuries. So, that's some good news that nobody was injured. Now, the car dealership in Jamaica, I will mention that it was vacant. Nobody was hurt from what I have heard. So what I want to do now is take a look at this address in South Jamaica. And then we'll look at the... So this house is literally right on top of the exit for the Belt Parkway. See, here's exit 1. So I know exactly where this is. Yep. Exit 2 is Rockaway Boulevard. So I know exactly where this is. Yep. So let's see if we can get a street view of it. I believe we can. Here we go. Let's see what the house looked like before the fire. I mean, doesn't look that bad. Can't tell from that. I don't know. I mean, definitely had home surveillance. That's a given. In fact, here's an old view from 2007. Okay, so the house looked like it was in worse shape back then, but in 2018, it looked like it was more of a decent shape. So what I want to do now is find something else. So let me see if I can find it right now. Jamaica car dealer fire. Let's see if I can find anything about it. Okay, so this is what I got. Right here. Okay, Freedom News TV. Perfect. Okay, so Freedom News TV did cover it. Alright, so it says here, all firefighters were evacuated from the building and the unit switched to a tower ladder operation after sagging was discovered in the roof of the rear of the building. So, yes, again, we do have proof that it was Nemet Motors, as you can see here. So, 10:10 p.m., the fire was declared a 3-alarm. First report of the incident happened at 9:26 p.m. So that's when I was notified of it last night. So, you know, I will say I'm very glad that Ladder Company 103 was there last night from what I'm seeing over here. But, you know, this is why my thumbnail today is going to be specifically a fire. Because that's what Channel 1 is not covering. You know, that's the problem. I am just so annoyed with this TV station. And then look at this. Massive 5-alarm fire at a warehouse in Richmond Hill. Mind you, Channel 1 is not covering any of these. You want proof? You want proof? I mean, look at this. Nothing about any of these fires. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, so Channel 1 did cover the Macy's Flower Show, so guess I'll have that in a separate video for you, because I do want you to watch that. I thought they didn't bring it up, but they did, so at least I'm glad they did cover that, because that's, you know, at least we have to cover the positive about New York. So here we go. This happened last night. The blaze broke out at 138-18-100 1st Avenue around 6:45 p.m. on March 30th, and the first units began arriving on the scene 3 minutes later. By the way, I will read this unrelated note at the end of the video about roses. So there's heavy smoke conditions at the 1-story commercial building that housed a shop and an industrial warehouse. Firefighters were forced to conduct a defensive attack due to the threat of structural collapse, according to the FNNY. So, 5 hose lines were used to battle this blaze. And they had parked cars blocking the access. So that really made it hard. Yeah. So 44 units, 200 firefighters, and EMS personnel. So the good news is we only had 2 minor injuries to firefighters. One was transported to an area hospital. The other was treated at the scene. So the good news is no civilians were injured. That's the good thing. So, again, this is why I can greatly appreciate our FDNY. But it seems Channel 1, as usual, is just ignoring these brave people who risk their lives for us each and every day. Most cases. Because, again, this is kind of alarming that all these fires are happening and Channel 1 is just ignoring them. I mean, come on. You know what they're obsessed with? The economy. They're obsessed with COVID. I mean, give me a break. You know, they're just like Channel 12 in Long Island. Yes, so let's go to this warehouse and see what it looked like before the fire. Oh, funny enough, this warehouse is right by the other house where the fire happened in South Jamaica. You cannot make this stuff up. Right by the Q8 bus stop. Yeah, here we go. This is the warehouse before the fire. So, this is from June 2012. Okay, we don't want that. Yeah, we want this. So, let's see. Yeah, this looks like a church. Okay, yeah, okay. So, this is the most recent street view we can get from November of 2020. And as you can see here, it looked like this used to be a plumbing and electrical store. Yeah, something around there. And according to Google Street View, this store has been around now for about 15 years. First opened in 2007, from what I'm seeing here. So, yeah, just again, very, very unfortunate. And then we got one more. This is the last one we're going to cover. Fire at a home in Brooklyn. Here we go. And this happened in Mill Basin. Unbelievable. Right by where my parents' friends live. 1610 East 56th Street. So not too far from where they live. The fire turned into an all-hands situation when the FDNY deployed 12 units with 60 firefighters to the scene. The fire was brought under control at 4:34 p.m. There were no reported injuries as a result. And I wonder if Channel 12 Brooklyn covered this. That's a good question, which I don't even want to get into right now. So what I'll do is I'll Google Fire Mill Basin and see if Channel 12 Brooklyn comes up. Let's see. I believe I know where this is. Let's see. Okay. Okay, good. So what happened on the other side of Avenue U? Oof. Not too far from it. Basically, if you know Mill Basin, you have your parts of Mill Basin. You live south of Avenue U, north of Avenue U. Basically, my parents' friends live south of Avenue U. Let's just say that. So anyhow, 1610 East 56th Street. And obviously, I go with no dash because this is Brooklyn. So this is the house back in October of 2019. Now, again, good news is no reported injuries. That's the good news from what we just read. So, again, this is what's going on. You know? Let's see if we can find anything. Yep, it seems AM New York's the only one that has information about it. So, it looks like Channel 12 Brooklyn did ignore this as well, along with Channel 1. So, there you go. I mean, same old antics. Okay, so let's go to the breaking news from Fresh Meadows. There we go. So, we have a statement that was sent out from Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz regarding a case that was brought up in 2019. Yes, okay, because remember, she was sworn in January of 2020. So here we go. Fresh Meadows resident Wad Hussan was sentenced to 19 years in prison back on Tuesday, March 29th in Queens Criminal Court, Kew Gardens for fatally stabbing his wife and injuring his daughter in a 2019 rampage at their home on 69th Avenue. So, Hassan pled guilty earlier this month to manslaughter and assault charges before Queens Supreme Court Justice Kenneth Holder. So here we go. According to her office, Melinda Katz says, on the afternoon of January 15, 2019, Hussan went at his wife Fatima Wad, 44, and their 18-year-old daughter with multiple knives. According to the charges, the 44-year-old victim was stabbed 46 times and sustained wounds to her torsos and extremities, suffering puncture wounds to her lung, liver, large and small intestines. The couple's daughter, Manhar, stepped between the two. She was slashed in the hand and wrist in her right leg. Despite her injuries, the young woman was able to call 911. The teenager told the 911 dispatcher that her father had stabbed her mother. So, according to the 911 tape, Hassan grabbed the phone and told the operator that he had trouble with his wife and just heard her. So, it says here, the defendant was standing outside holding two knives. 107 Precinct took the suspect into custody without incident. Sadly, both women were taken to Booth Memorial Medical Center in Flushing, where Fatima Huad died of her extensive injuries later the same day. So, the good news is the daughter did survive, which, an unfortunate circumstance that did happen 3 years ago. There is a little bit of a positive here. She did go through months of physical therapy back in 2019 to regain partial use of her fingers. So, it says here that in a statement on her website, Melinda Katz said, in pleading guilty, the defendant now has admitted to the stabbing rampage that killed his wife. This brutal outburst also injured his daughter. A woman is dead and her family still to this day is grieving, and now the defendant will be held accountable. So it says here that Judge Holder sentenced Hassan to 19 years in prison, followed by 5 years of post-release supervision. So pretty much now you're looking at a 19-year jail sentence. So that would mean that Hassan would be released in 2041, and then if you add that up by about 5 years, additional 5 years of supervision, so that would mean once he gets out, let's say he's still alive in 2041, because you don't know circumstances where he could be. He could be in Rikers, or he could be at that other community jail in Kew Gardens when they complete it. He would be under supervision until 2046. So interesting enough. I mean, this is just very unfortunate. And I first remembered when this first happened. So there you go. Let's see if we can find the original 2019 article. If we can't, that's okay. But you get the idea. You know, this should have been covered. But no, we're Channel 1. We don't care. Anyhow, let's get into the other fire. I forgot to mention, there was a fire in Queens Village, 86-95 208th Street. The fire started in the laundry room and extended to the roof of the vent. So this is an apartment building. So there was a car fire in Hollis. Oh boy. I mean, very, very unfortunate. So let's take a look at this address right here. Let's take a look here. Pull it up. Oh, yeah, I know exactly where this is. Right by the Clearview Expressway. Mm-hmm. Wow, look at that. This is so specific. There's the laundry room. You cannot make this stuff up, folks. You just can't. Okay, so let's get to the multi-vehicle accident that happened in Douglaston. I know she had it on here somewhere. Okay, here's another one. In Elmhurst, multi-vehicle accident. 5 vehicles, multiple injuries reported. New York City taxi cab involved. Oh, boy. And then look at this. Bus fire on the Van Wyck before College Point Boulevard, carrying passengers to LaGuardia Airport. Alright, here we go. Vehicle overturn involving 5 occupants in Bayside. East Hampton Boulevard, Horace Harding Expressway. Multi-vehicle accident with 1 auto overturned. So I bet this delayed the Q30 overnight on Tuesday. Yep. Which we don't know how much longer we're going to have with the Q30. Because that route is being threatened to get cut. So let's get into the other news from Queens. So I got about 2 more I'm going to read. Just make sure. Yeah, okay, we're good. Hit and run collision near York College. 10:15 p.m. So it happened on Monday night, the 28th. Yeah, okay. 160th Street and Liberty Avenue at 10:15 p.m. So it says the 31-year-old man who was struck had serious trauma. The victim was taken to Jamaica Hospital where he is listed in critical condition. So, sadly, this is a hit and run because the vehicle traveling west on Liberty Avenue fled the scene. So, very, very unfortunate. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for this. So here we go. Horrific video Wednesday of a cold-blooded Queens murder happened last weekend. Peter Panther of Montauk Avenue in Brooklyn was shot dead in front of an apartment building in the 600 block of Grasshopper Terrace in Far Rockaway. This happened on the evening of Saturday, March 26th. Okay. Panther and the killer walking down the street together. The perpetrator pulls out a firearm, pointing it at Panther's head and pulls the trigger. So it says, very, very unfortunate circumstances. That second shot was fired. Gunman runs away. So, shot spotter was activated. So, sadly, the victim was taken to St. John's Episcopal Hospital in Far Rockaway where he was pronounced dead. So, we're not going to play the video because, again, all we have is this grainy image. It's a very grainy image, but you get the idea of how bad this has become. You know Channel 1's not going to cover it. They're not. Alright, so let's get to our last story. Man shot and just on Lower East Side drives himself to the hospital in Kips Bay. So it says here that a man was shot in Kips Bay, Madison and Montgomery Streets, 1:30 p.m. on March 30th. So the good news is the person who was shot in the chest was able to get to Langone Hospital in Kips Bay. So it says the victim was seen driving a vehicle with a blowout rear window near the FDR Drive heading towards 34th Street, where he flagged down an ambulance pleading for help, showcasing his wound. So, which is very, very unfortunate. You know, Channel 1's not going to cover it. You know they won't. Alright, so thankfully with Bellevue Hospital, because again, NYU Langone doesn't have a drama center. Bellevue does. So, obviously, now I think I know why I saw an extra ambulance heading east on 34th yesterday. Now it makes sense. Right when I was walking to the 8th Avenue entrance at Moynihan. Oh, you could not make this stuff up. Alright, let's get to some good news, and then we're going to criticize Channel 1's in the paper segment. So, in case you're wondering, Rosa's Pizza has officially confirmed that they will be opening at Bay Terrace. So let's get some details about that. So, Cord Meyer will be letting them take over the old spot. So, says here that Rosa's is expected to open by around Memorial Day. So, if they do open, I mentioned this to my friend that I would love to check it out with him, because there's also a cookie store that just opened. That's some good news. So, last but not least, let's criticize Pat Kiernan today. Let's see what our friend Pat is up to on Channel 1. And by the way, we're going to bring up Eric Adams now, because those homeless encampments, it seems Channel 1 loves to talk about them. So here we go.
Time for a look at some of what's in the Thursday morning papers. That pizzeria story that we talked about yesterday is on the front page of the Post today. Again, the father and son who own the place say they felt they had no option but to intervene in the robbery that was happening on the street in front of their shop. They say the government has not been doing enough about crime in the city. The Sun tells the Post.
Exactly! You can blame de Blasio! It's no his fault that we're in this mess!
The police need to be able to do their job and not be vilified. Both of them are recovering in the hospital now with stab wounds. The other front page story you saw, the news that Bruce Willis is stepping away from acting.
Oh, here we go again with gossip. My goodness. You know, if they wanted to at least talk about something notable, they should mention that Tiger Woods might be coming back for the Masters next week. He was in a very serious car accident last year. Like, that's a very big deal. That's a big comeback story. Oh, and then look at this. They're bragging about Kim Kardashian. All right, let's see what Pat's talking about in the Daily News.
Question about the mayor's strategy on homeless. Is he actually helping people by taking down these homeless encampments? The Daily News says one obstacle to getting people into shelters is there's so much red tape on getting someone into supportive housing. Hundreds of those shelter units are sitting vacant. Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson is getting support from at least one Republican senator, Susan Collins of Maine.
See, that's going to be a big deal, because you know a lot of the Republicans are not going to vote for Judge Jackson to serve on the Supreme Court. Well, this is a big deal. Captain Lyons, who was a 9/11 responder, sadly has passed away. So let's watch that.
Democrats decide to vote the other way. An obituary on page 11 for retired fire captain Michael Lyons, who worked with his crew to pull a Port Authority engineer from the rubble in what remained of the North Tower in 2001. That engineer tells the paper that he and Lyons have been friends ever since that day. HBO Max will premiere a new series today on the life of Julia Child, the showrunner telling writer Kate Feldman that a big...
And here we go again with gossip. And then let's let's watch the Fancy Times now. What did they have on their front cover?
There are conflicting messages coming from Ukraine and Russia. Russia says, despite its claims that it would de-escalate.
Again, that's not local news. The fire at the car dealership should have been on the front page. But no, we're the New York Times. We don't care about that. Shame on them. Right, you're supposed to be covering local news. Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to go on any. Ugh. Now, this is kind of a big deal. So, I'm glad Newsday did bring this up. In fact, let's rewind this.
To find somebody else to chase down. A familiar face for New York television viewers is retiring. Today is consumer watchdog Arnold Diaz's last day at Channel 11. They'll have to find somebody else to chase down bad business owners. The article says Diaz built a franchise around the word shame as he worked at different New York City television stations.
Yes, shame. Man, another nostalgic part of New York is leaving us. We lost John Montone from 10-10 wins last year, and now Arnold Diaz?
Publicly calling out cricket up, but Alisher Usmanov, one of the prices could be a good on Russian oil, and until now have mostly been tested.
Yeah, the Snob
Basin.
Street Journal. I don't even want to get into that. Alright, so that's what's going on with Channel 1, as usual. And, again, shame on... Here's a shame. Not covering the fires. So, to wrap this up, if you want to watch the video from Freedom News regarding the fire that did happen in Jamaica, I will card that right now, so you should be seeing it at the very end of this video, so that way I can edit it on YouTube Creator Studio, and then you can see it. So, that's pretty much it for today. I have lost all my patience with this TV station, as usual. And each and every day, I think we all should be sick at their antics. So, that's it. Thank you for watching.